Welcome, welcome. This is episode 2 of a Wealth Story. For those of you that are new, I track my net worth on a weekly basis and I share it with the community here on YouTube. I've been tracking this for a long while now since I started my career in July of 2017. Since then, I've managed to grow it pretty substantially. I'm happy with this. I just turned 25 and I'm just over $90,000 in terms of all the accounts that I have. We're seeing some solid growth here and I'm loving it so far. I'm going to keep up documenting this and share it with the group as long as people like it. Now, at this point, there are a couple things coming up in 2020 that I'm trying to get ready for. One of them is potentially buying a house, so that could throw off a lot of this here. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty cash heavy at the moment with about $45,000 in the checking and savings, but I'm hoping that when I hit maybe $50,000 that I can start to put more money into the 401k and maybe even set up a Roth IRA. I'm still maybe considering M1 Finance. I need to move out my money from Robinhood at the moment. It's pretty cool. They have fractional shares now, but I'm still looking for dividend reinvestment and also something to almost robo-advise my portfolio. So at this point, I wanted to cover a concept that's very important to me. I think that finance and investments are very much a psychological game, a game where you have to be mentally into it to really drive performance and grow your accounts and your net worth. So we're going to be talking about how to think about money today in two ways. One, in the way that you spend it, the other one in the way that you save it. So let's jump into this one about spending really quick. What I pulled here, some very simple numbers. First off, median income in the United States. Based on the sources that I could find online, it was about $63,000. So we're going to go with that. It really doesn't matter what we're going with, so feel free to apply this to yourself, but the concept will hold up no matter how much or how little money that you make in a year. It's a very simple concept here. When you're spending money, what are you actually spending, or how much are you actually spending of that gross income? Now, most people, when they have $20 in their wallet or in their checking account, they have no problem spending it. It's really easy to spend $20. You go out, you have a drink at a bar, you go out and have lunch with your friends, you buy something small at the store. It's easy to spend $20. And what I want you to think about, what we're talking about today, is how much that $20 actually represents when you spend it and when you save it. And those are two different but both very important concepts to pay attention to if you actually want to grow your wealth. So let's talk about this. In a given year, someone's making about $63,000. Hey, that's not too bad. Their gross hourly wage would be about $30. Hey, $30 an hour, that sounds good to me, right? You're probably thinking, I have $20 in my wallet, I can spend that. It took me less than an hour to make it. Well, there's two things that are going to throw that off a lot right now. The first one is taxes. So someone that's making $63,000 is going to be taxed at 22%. So right off the bat, they only really make $49,000. So now they're making less than $50,000 a year. Things just got a lot worse. So their net hourly wage at this point is just $24 per hour. What this means is it's, of course, 22% less. So to think about this, how much is $20 worth? Really, $20 is $24.40 worth of what their gross income, or that $63,000, was. Now, we're going to take it one step further, because here's the thing. Your landlord, your mortgage broker, whoever you owe money to, does not care if you're working 8 hours. They don't care if it's 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. No one's checking in with you just to make sure that you're working your 8 hours or working 16 hours or whatever it is. So the point is that expenses can come and will come whenever. So what I've included on here is how many hours are in a year. 8,760. What this means is that if you're pulling in $63,000 per year, that means that you're making just $7 an hour. Whether it's 1 a.m. or 1 p.m., you're pulling in $7. That's your cash flow. That's pretty scary, because when we think about that and all the expenses that are going to be incurred for the normal person, we're talking shelter and food and utilities and maybe going out to dinner once every couple weeks. You have no money left because $7 an hour doesn't get you anywhere. And it's actually kind of funny. I was going to include all those expenses, but they actually come out to around $60,000. It's incredible. Between housing and food and your utilities and clothing and all the necessities of life, there's very little money left. So, the point I'm trying to make here, the point that I want to drill into your mind, is that when you have $20 in your wallet, that represents a lot of money. So in this case, if we're looking at it in terms of hourly income for the year, for any given hour, that $20 is actually worth $35.25 of your gross income. So next time you go to the store, next time you want to buy something, next time you're about to pull that $20 out of your wallet, think to yourself how much it's actually worth, because it ain't $20. It's a heck of a lot more than $20. Okay, now this is the kind of no fun part, right? Spending money, we're trying to get you to save it. But the other side of this equation is a lot more fun. And it's interesting, and it's one that we all know about. It involves compounding and how much a dollar can be worth. Not how much you're spending will break you, but how much you're saving will grow you. So let's jump over to that one real quick. And I have on the tab here, time is everything, because it is. Time is one of those components that allows you to have leverage with your money. You can grow it more so with less money than someone with more money but less time. So how to think about money when you save it. So right now, at any given moment, we're still dealing with this $20. And in that moment, your $20 is only worth, of course, $20. How much is it worth a year from now? Well, with inflation, I just have the average here. It's 3.22%. That means a year from now, your $20 is really only worth $19.36. Okay, let's extrapolate that. Let's say 10 years from now, how much is your $20 worth? Well, now it's only worth $14.42. That kind of sucks, right? That does suck a lot, that your money just slowly starts to lose value. But the exciting part of this, the part that gets me all jazzed up, and it's confirmed by the growing amount of money in my accounts, is that if you deploy your money correctly, if you're smart about where you put your money, it grows. It's kind of like magic. It's not magic, but it's kind of like magic, the way that it just grows on its own if you put it in the right places, if you're smart about where you put it. And this is why savings is kind of exciting, because in 10 years from now, that $20, if actually invested, is $51.87. Now, what we're doing here is just a 10% growth rate. It's super simple. I have the chart over here to the right. Basically, it has invested cash here, and after 10 years, you have $51.87. That's exciting. What about 30 years? What if this is going in your retirement account, and you're 25 or 35 years old, and you're going to retire one day? That $20 is now almost $350. And you can just see it slowly start to grow. And then it starts to get faster and faster, start to compound. Almost $350. That's pretty crazy. Now, obviously, I am not adjusting for inflation here. So we could actually do that calculation, take off, 3.22% a year. And that's still growing at about 7%. Pretty incredible, pretty crazy stuff. If you're treating your money correctly, if you're working with that capital and you're deploying it in a smart fashion, you can grow it quickly. So just to recap really quick here, how much money do you make per hour? You make nothing. You're only making $7 per hour, and that sucks. That just means next time you spend $20, make sure that item or whatever you're buying is actually worth $35, or whatever your yearly income would be calculated to. Because frankly, if you're making $100,000, then maybe, you have a little bit more to spare, but based on all the expenses that the normal American has, you don't have too much money available, and that's completely fine. You just got to be smart about where you're spending your money. And then the saving part is the awesome part. That's the part where if you can get those $20 bills from your checking account or from your wallet into the right investments, whether that's some sort of security or real estate, whatever. Hopefully it's an index fund or something simple. It's going to grow. And it's going to grow like magic if you just do it smartly. So really think about your money. Think about where you're deploying it. Most people don't. And what they do is 10 years later, they look back and said, gosh, I wish I put it in the right place. I wish I just saved a little bit more, 1%, 2%, 5% more. Things would have grown crazy big because of compounding and the beauty of time. So those are your two concepts for today. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Really think about how much that can have an impact on your financial well-being in 5 or 10 or 15 or even 30 years from now. It's really incredible. It gets me excited because I see what's going on here with the account, and it's awesome. I mean, I'm only a couple years in, and things are growing, and we're making decent decisions. Maybe not amazing decisions, but at least somewhat smart decisions, and it's moving in the right direction. And that's what it's all about. So 5 years from now, hey, we'll be in an excellent position as long as we continue making the right decisions. With that, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk with you guys next week for another episode of A Wealth Story.